Join me on an adventure, a challenge as I grow and build my team. A vibrant world awaits. Take a front row seat to my first Pokemon playthrough. This is 100 Days of Pixelmon. Watch as I take on all opponents, witness the construction of an epic base, and count the number of Pokemon's names that I mess up. I'll ask you this only once. Are you ready? Then let's go. Hi, it's me. I just want to pause to thank today's sponsor, the poke.camp Pixelmon server. They were a huge help setting up this server. All I had to do was open Technic Launcher and type in the server IP. Everything downloads automatically, and you could visit the website and Discord link down in the description. What's really cool is that you can hop onto the server to visit my base and face the trainer that is designed after what I do in this video. I also want to mention my awesome fans. You guys have given this channel so much momentum. Let's keep it going, shoot for 1 million, and if LukeTheNotable is listening, I love you. So here we go, day one, choosing my starter. I'm not a veteran Pokemon player, so I just went for the cutest one, Rowlet. I don't know what he's going to evolve into, which is part of the fun for me. But here I spawned in the PokeCamp hub and immediately RTP'd away to begin my survival. You know how it goes, I got my wooden pickaxe, upgraded to stone, and began chopping down some trees. I was still doing this even though I was playing Pixelmon, because on the server I could upgrade my skills such as tree chopping, mining, building, and smelting in order to get keys for crates which I could open to get different rewards. So after chopping down some trees, I went into the mines to gather some ore, leveling up my skills, and then finding a nice area to build a base. I was liking this birch forest, and with a mine nearby, it seemed like a pretty cool spot. After smelting some items and crafting birch planks, I headed into the depths of the mines to gather up some of those new ores added in with the Pixelmon mod. And by the end of day one, I had a nice little smelting operation going on, and on day two, I began clearing out all the space around my base. I continued mining until I went deep into the ground. I mean, look at that staircase, and I made myself a full set of Pixelmon armor, so I looked like a proper trainer, and then started clearing out and flattening the terrain. Then I went off to explore and find some Pokemon. I found this tower in the swamp and made the mistake of challenging the Lampent, which was level 29, and that didn't go too well for me, but I RTP'd on day 4 and found this really cool highland bio with a village. These guys didn't really do much, but you could talk to them and have some fun with that. There was also a healing station here, and inside the chest, a bunch of potions to add to my bag. I continued up the highlands where I was going to make my new home. I didn't just want a cool Pokemon team, I wanted a base to fit that, and at the top of the highlands would be an amazing spot to build my new base. It was much better than the birch forest. So after making my home here, on day 5, I officially began training my Pokemon. This Centrant wouldn't stand a chance against my Leafage attack. I took her out, and then immediately after got a level 9 as well, leveling up my Rowlet and unlocking Peck, my first flying ability. After that, I continued fighting until I was defeated by an electric, and then headed back to spawn to claim my reward. Those first few days I spent mining would be worth it, as I now had over 30 traits, and inside I could get some pretty cool stuff. I ended out with a bunch of Ultra Balls and Great Balls, a few revives, a revival herb, 14 candies, and a few other cool things. But it was really exciting to also open them up and see what I would get. But ending off on day 5, I continued into day 6 where I would begin assembling my team. First on my list would be a Ponyta, a fire type. I needed that in order to counter anything I would run into, because I only had a leaf type at the moment, and this would definitely diversify my team. After capturing the Ponyta, I leveled up my Rowlet and also got a Whirloo, which was just a funny looking guy. I just wanted to get him for now. Maybe I'll switch it out later. I battled an electric and got my revenge, and then came across a Scythe, and I wanted to get this guy because he was level 15 and way higher than my Rowlet and my Ponyta. Ponyta, but he just wouldn't go down. After healing my Pokemon, I came back for round 2. I really wanted this guy, but he one-shotted my Rowlets, but with my Ponyta, I managed to get him down pretty low before he took me out. Luckily, I had just enough time to throw an Ultra Ball, but he would break free, and that would be super frustrating. I used a Max Revive to revive my Ponyta. Then I wasn't able to capture him because he just died to my Ember, and so I spent the remainder of day 6 continuing to battle and level up my Pokemon. As you can see, using my Ponyta and Rowlet to defeat a few high-level Pokemon, but this would allow me to gain 1 or 2 levels on each of them. I had a nice little battle here with an Ekans. He would poison me, but my fire would get the best of him. On day 7, I continued battling Pokemon until I took out a Wooloo and leveled up my Rowlet, unlocking Shadow Sneak. After swapping around a few Pokemon, I managed to defeat a Clank level 13 with a Wooloo level 8. Leveling up this guy, he's now 1 step closer to dominating this entire world. But after a few more fights, I encountered a very big boy. This was a Tauros level 18, and he took out my entire team. My Rowlet didn't stand a chance. My Ponyta take a few more hits, but he still went down. My Wooloo obviously didn't stand a chance, but right next to the Tauros that defeated us was a Milcery, and I captured her, and this was just such a cute Pokemon that I wanted to keep her and evolve her, and I would spend all the 14 candies that I got from the crates to rank her up, getting Draining Kiss, and then a few more levels ahead. I got Aromatherapy as well, which would help my entire team, and went back to fight the Tauros. I now had a level 20 Milcery versus a level 18 Tauros, and he did not stand a chance against the Draining Kiss, which was a very cool looking move. By the end of day 7, my Rowlet was now level 14, and into day 8, I found a Blitzel. She was quite stubborn. I did do quite a lot of damage using Rowlet and Ponyta, but it just wasn't enough. Even using a potion, I didn't manage to get that final hit, as she was level 16, so I had to call out the big guns of Milcery, level 20, did the Draining Kiss, and the final blow took out the Blitzel. Went on to take out another Pokemon and level up my Rowlet, unlocking Razor Leaf, and finally encountered a Machop, and this guy was going to be added to my team. This is one of the only Pokemons I actually recognize, and after getting him, I went into the forest where I encountered a level 28 Pokemon for the first time. This guy exploded when I was about to kill him. Really shocked me because I've never seen that before. It was pretty cool, so now I was determined to find a Pineco and capture him to add him to my team. Then in the swamp, I encountered a Toxel. This guy also looked pretty cool and fierce, so I wanted to add him to my team. He was an electric type, I could tell from his abilities, as well as from the lightning bolt on his forehead, so I did a bit of work around him, and then finally captured him, and leveled up my Machop in the process. Then I fought a Deerling. She was level 21, and this is only relevant because I brought out my Rowlet to hit the final blow, allowing him to level up to level 18, unlocking Synthesis. This would allow me to heal during battles. It's one of the most powerful moves, and then I evolved right on top of that. Now I have a Dartrix, and I would test out the Dartrix on the Skiddo, level 19, and it really felt like my team was coming together. As I was leaving the forest, I spotted a Pineco in the corner of my eye, and I wanted this guy, so I just went ahead and tossed a Great Ball, captured him level 5, super low, so it wasn't too big of a problem, and spent the entire day 10 trying to find opponents for him. I would of course have to fight really low level Pokemon since it was so hard just trying to get him up from level 5, but at this point I was satisfied with my team. Just ignore that Ducklet, we don't talk about that. I went on to claim the area for my base. I claimed the entire mountain thanks to the admin, and then started the construction of a staircase up to the first level. My idea was that I would have the staircase leading up to one level of my base that would contain my house and other decorations, and then at the very tip top of the mountain would be an epic arena that I can invite people to. What's a bigger flex than having my own personal battle arena above the clouds? But during this entire time, I was smelting down stone to make stone stairs, even though at this point I didn't know you could actually buy them, but it was still fine because I was getting crates for doing this. I flattened out the terrain at the bottom of my stairs and then added a layer of slabs in between the two levels. That was the staircase so far, and then I headed off to mine some more stone. This is the only time you'll see me mining stone because it's just so hard to edit. I mean, look at this. It looks really cool, I do have to say. It's like Minecraft ASMR, and I have thought about uploading a version of my 100 days without any commentary commentary, and I thought that would be really cool. I watched it without any commentary, and it's awesome. Let me know if you want to see that. I will definitely upload it or maybe make some clips, but either way, you see me now flattening out the terrain at the top where the arena will be built, as well as flattening out the first level. I was back into my elements, chopping down trees and terraforming, and I was pretty excited for what I could build here. But you see me using all of the ore tools I have. These are like tools specific to Pixelmon, and I got them yet again from the first 4 days of mining. So again, that is coming in handy. But I eventually finished up the stairs and added in this nice little floor at the top, and boom, check it out. At the end of day 13, we had a completely flat area. With the foundations cleared, it was time to start building. I first gathered up some leaves and sand, smelted down some stone in order to combine them to make a new pillar block. These blocks would be pretty expensive, but again, I would get tons of keys by doing this, and after combining them, the pillar block themselves looked pretty cool, and I wanted something majestic on the staircase to sort of be a awe-inspiring sight to whoever came across my base. I started building the pillars and messed around with the design a bit until I came to something that I liked. 4 pillars, very high with roofs above them, and then one final one at the top of the staircase, and it came out pretty well. It took a really long time to make though, and I finished at the top using the same corresponding slabs, which I thought was pretty cool. I took a short break on day 15 after finding a terracotta biome and used this opportunity to get colored blocks for my arena. After experiencing what it takes to make concrete in my 100 days, I didn't want to repeat that process again. I found a desert with a lot of sandstone and harvested some more stone to smelt down and create the last remaining blocks I needed to finish up the roofs. By this point, the staircase was coming together. Let me know what you guys think in the live chat. I know some of you like watching this live. Huge shout out to those of you. I appreciate you. But here I'm finishing up the roofs. I had to make a few height adjustments, but at the very top I added in a nice floor, and at the bottom I created an entrance area by clearing out some trees, adding in some really tall pillars, and making the final roof. And there you have it, guys. On day 18, the morning of, we have this really cool looking staircase, and there's no denying that somebody lives here now. This is somebody's house. I briefly considered making a pathway up to the next level, but decided just to tunnel underneath the lava for now, as I headed off to a birch forest to gather resources for my next project. I did this until nightfall, where I encountered a giraffe rig as I was heading back home. Level 25, it was a challenge. Using my dart tricks, he did faint, however, and I had to call in the Myceliary for backup, and then I swapped out my Pineco in the mix of this to level him up and unlock a new ability. Finally, I had Bug Bite, his first special ability. I started day 19 by harvesting some more trees to build a house. It was just going to be a small house, and I started by using the Acacia wood. I was on 1.12, so I didn't have many options, but I built the lower frame out of the Acacia, then the top section out of birch stairs, and on top of that I added in some basic trapdoors since they were the only trapdoors I had access to, and finished out the top with some stone slabs, tossed in a skylight, and time for a doorway. I added trapdoors to the left and right hand side, some stone slabs, and it's that simple. I had the doorway now. I connected this up to the staircase, and now for the final touches, just some glass, a floor on the inside, and just some changes on each of the walls to make it look different. And for the most important part, exterior decorations really brings out the house. I added in some leaves everywhere, which already makes it look better, and boom, check that out. Pretty cool edits. And on day 20, I finished up by also adding in a fence over here, staggering it with leaves in between, and in the daylight, this thing looks awesome. Check out our tiny house, guys. It is so cool. Instead of having a simple staircase to the next level, I wanted something dangerous, so I added ladders to the face of the cliff, and after decorating them, I headed out to gather wood for my next project. This would take me to multiple biomes because I needed tons of wood, and although you see me only harvest 1 tree per biome, I did spend a lot of time to get full stacks of wood. And on to day 23, I expanded the foundations and began building up my stable. I mainly chose a stable because I wanted something that fit the layout of the lower section of my base, and I thought this would look pretty cool. In the stables, I could build a healing station, a place for storage and smelting, and you could also visit it to heal your Pokemon before making a dangerous climb up the cliff to battle me in my own arena. Towards the end of day 23, the roof was completed, but I needed one more day of construction to really finish everything up. I made a pathway down to the staircase, added in some arches and a wooden floor to the outside as well as the inside, and after doing this, the stable was pretty much done. I just needed to decorate the outside a bit more, add in those barriers next to the walkway, and now I had the first level basically done in my base. That was quite enough building, I think you can agree, so I headed off to train my Pokemon once again. My first battle against the Pelipper wouldn't go so well as my team wasn't equipped to battle water types. After one-shotting my Miscellany, I got her down with a Dartrix and self-destructed my Pineco to level up my Dartrix and match up unlocking Pluck, a really good flying ability. A few battles later and I found myself in the forest fighting a Cherubi. He had a neat healing ability, but I still managed to take him down, leading me to the swamp and this cute Quasar. I briefly considered adding the Quasar to my team, but held out for a better Pokemon. My next battle against a Hippopotas would go well considering she was level 33, but my Dartrix took care of that. Then I encountered a Pokemon worthy of adding to my team, the Hakamono. Oh yeah, I started off this battle with the Dartrix, trying to get him low as quickly as possible to toss that Pokeball, but he wasn't going to go down that easily. Immediately one-shotting my Dartrix, but I made him fall in love with my Miscellany, paralyzed him with Toxel, and tried one more time to success. Hakamono was now on my team. I leveled up my Pokemon and unlocked a new ability, and that was a good way to end 2 days of battling. Day 27 saw my luck run out as I only fought vanilla Pokemon, a Numel, a Diglett. I mean, it was really bad, but at least I got a few levels, and I even fought a Rattata. That's how bad it was going for me, but towards the end, I did fight a Vivillon, which was a pretty cool flying Pokemon. I just wanted to get one of these guys out of the sky, and it was an interesting looking battle. Using my Miscellany, I took her down, and after all that, I thought it was time for a break, so I went over to claim my rewards, hoping for candies, of course. I would get 6 of them so far, and 22 by the end of all of the crates. This was awesome. I immediately went back to my base to level my Pokemon, and leveling my Pineco and Toxel. I was really excited to see what those guys would become, as I'd never really played Pokemon before, but in hindsight, I probably should have spent all of my candies on one Pokemon, because at this point, with all the candies that I've gotten, I probably would have already had a level 100. But I'm yelling at myself just like you're yelling at me, so don't worry about it. And on day 29, I headed back out into the wilderness to fight more Pokemon. First starting with a Pulsar level 20, then taking down a giant rat. This guy is so weird. Level 29 though, that was a really nice kill, leveling up my Miscellany, getting a Trax to replace my Sweet Scent. Why not make them fall in love with me? Magmar was next, and he showed me the weakness of my team. I was not good against fire types, nor was I good against water types. I tossed out my Miscellany for her only to get poisoned, taken down, but I called out my newly upgraded Pineco and got the final blow. Next, I went into the forest to fight a squirrel whose name's really hard to say, and another Pokemon which I cannot pronounce. Is it Togedemaru? I think that's probably right. Level 35 though, that was a pretty nice kill, leveling up my Dartrix and unlocking my first dark ability, which was Nasty Plot. I did try it out, then I went head to head with a Cubco, a super sweet and cuddly bear. I totally flamed him with the Hakamono and did it to his cousin as well on the river. I mean, totally savage, but towards the end of these 2 days of battling, I went and fought a worthy competitor, the Loudred. Look how low his health is. I tried with 3 different Pokemon to get the finishing hit, but had to call out to Pineco. Can you believe it? My Pineco is the saving grace for the last 2 days. Now on day 21, I started off by leveling up my Machop by defeating a Blitzel, getting Scary Face to replace my Leer. Then I battled a level 44 Tauros. This guy would lower my speed as I used Nasty Plot on my Dartrix to level up his attack. This would do a lot of damage to Tauros, but also to my Dartrix. I had to switch out to another Pokemon, trying to match up, and the Toxel, he would continue healing, so I used my Toxel to lower his attack so I could get enough attacks in myself, paralyzing him, using my Pineco, but I got one-shotted, and finally my Miscellany to lower his health, but then he healed up 2 more times. This was extremely frustrating, so I had to try a different strategy. Every time he lowered my attack, I would increase my speed and attack with the Hakamono, finally allowing me to hit 2 attacks attacked on the Twiistz, taking him out. That was a pretty intense battle to end at day 31, leveling up most of my Pokemon, taking me into day 32, where I battled a Missilary versus Missilary. I was so wrong for that, but then came the Pukarisu, which is I think how you say the squirrel's name, then a Morlul, which is only notable because I leveled up my Pineco, unlocking Payback. I didn't have many special abilities up until this point, so I'll take it. I also replaced Spikes, which was pretty much useless. And then my Pineco would begin evolving. I was super excited. What's gonna come next? Fingers crossed, and no! I'm so disappointed. Okay, it wasn't the best Pokemon, but I did get 2 other abilities after this, Mirror Shot and Autotomize. I did keep Mirror Shot, I didn't choose to get Autotomize, didn't really need it, and moved on to battle and tested out on a cute little boy. This was a nice dog, and I had some trouble, so I called in my Matchop to chokeslam him, and then went into day 33. This electric put up a fight, but my Razor Leaf got the best of her, leveling up my Toxel in the process, and next fighting a Rhyhorn, where I leveled up my Dartrix. Next, I fought an Akins, and since I was getting higher levels, now the Pokemon were starting to get cool particle animations. I mean, check out that Akins. That was an awesome battle. Next, I fought a Poliwhirl in the swamp, and finally a Ponyta on the savannah to end day 33. Day 34 saw me on the ocean side battling a low-level Tauros. Easy peasy. Then I headed off to the forest where I saw an Execute for the first time, leveling up my Matchup and unlocking Vital Throw. Then I found a Pikachu level 37. I wanted to capture her, but my Missilary did way more damage than I was expecting, and whoa, look at that. I encountered one of my first bosses. This guy is ginormous. I did try fighting him for you guys. Obviously, he one-shotted everyone in my party, but it's still pretty cool nonetheless. Day 35 started off well, fighting a common boss, the Bonsweet. After battling for some time, I did manage to get the upper hand with my level 31 Fortress against a level 40 plus, which is good. And next, I would battle a Graveler with the Dartrix. He didn't stand a chance because it's leaf versus ground. And then my Dartrix started to evolve. This is the final transformation, guys. Are you ready for it? The Darkrai now is born. I got Spirit Shackle to replace Nasty Plot since I didn't really use that much. And there you go. That is my Darkrai. I believe that's how you say it. That is my starter Pokemon now at the highest transformation he could get. 34 levels. Obviously, I need to get him to 100, but the battle continued against a Hippopotas, leveling up my Hakamono next, getting Noble Roar, which would be very key to my future battles. This was an awesome move that lowered the attack and speed of enemy Pokemon. Next, I saw another boss. These were really good days, but my Pokemon at this point had been completely obliterated. My party was no more. I could only stare at this guy and hope to defeat him. There's no way I was going to do that. I continued day 36 by fighting a Mewtwo and then encountering a level 24 trainer. I would battle this trainer. He first threw out a Poliwhirl. I easily took out the Poliwhirl with the Fortress, leveling up the Fortress and Matchup, and then calling out my Toxtricity to battle the giant rat. He was kind of tiny actually, and then the Sparrow with my Fortress and the Poliwhirl I took out with the Fortress as well, getting some experience and almost 4,000 Poké-Dollars, which I could use to buy blocks for building and stuff. I continued battling. Next, a 45 Poliwhirl, which was pretty high, then a Farfetch level 42. You see that we're getting higher and higher here, guys, and I was super excited to see all these high-level Pokemon. Then I battled this Poodle, which had no business being this powerful. I had to paralyze him with Toxtricity, use Rapid Spin to get him low, and then call out my Decidueye to finish him off with Razor Leaf. After this, I encountered another boss that I couldn't fight. It was way too high level, but like I said, guys, this was some really good days as compared to what was happening before. I encountered so many high-level Pokemon and bosses. I was super excited for the future. Things calmed on day 37, where I battled a Tarkle, leveling up my Toxtricity and Matchup, and finally using my Fortress's self-destruct ability to great effect, leveling up my Toxtricity once again, unlocking a new Toxic toxic ability, my Decidueye leveled up before encountering a trainer at the end of day 38, where I defeated a Roller, Geodude, and Rayhorn with my Decidueye pretty easily, after leveling up my Decidueye and getting a Sucker Punch to replace Pluck. That was a bad decision, but I will learn my lesson. Next came on Aaron, which was a steal. This easily took out my Decidueye and my Hakamoto. All that was left was my Fortress, which I was relying on. Super low on health, I did a full restore, and with that I was able to defeat the Steel type and the 3 remaining Pokemon, including the Geodude, getting 1,400 Pokédollars and a few levels as well. A great way to end out day 38. At this point, Tarkle had become my de facto nemesis, but as I was roaming the desert, I found a Pokeball on the ground, and you won't believe what was inside. An orb! Such a rare item, just laying about casually. So I got that, super excited. I didn't know that it was a rare item until later on, by the way, so I had no idea. But then I went on to fight a Steel type trainer, defeating the Aaron and Clank pretty easily with my Decidueye, of course. And as my day started, it ended against the Tarkle, barely taking him out with the Hakamoto. As you can see, the health is so low. On day 40, I started off battling on the beach against the Strepinch, leveling up my Decidueye. Then I left to claim my rewards. I didn't have that many chests this time, so I only got a few Pokeballs and some potions. I went back to my home to test out all of the different items I had been collecting. I put the Power Anklet on my Decidueye, but all of these abilities that I had saved up wasn't able to be placed on any of my Pokemon. And by the way, the Toxtricity is horrible, and I will talk about that later when there's more time. But here's where I figured out you can mount your Pokemon. So after mounting my Decidueye, I was able to fly around the map. That's an awesome way to get around. The next day, I had one good battle against a high-level trainer, defeating a Magneton with my Fortress, unlocking Explosion, which is a better version of Self-Destruct. Then the Magnemite defeated my Fortress, my matchup, my Toxtricity got really low, and defeated my Massillary. Finally, I got the upper hand with the Hakamoto, though it left him in a weakened state to be defeated by the Scissor, and my Decidueye didn't stand a chance as he struggled to stay alive. My Toxtricity went down with him, and that was it. I was defeated on day 41. The following days would be my redemption, starting off against a level 50 Farfetch. My Decidueye and Hakamoto would fall immediately, leaving it up to my Fortress, and with help from some potion, I got the final blow and the victory, leading me to the swamps where I battled a Dreadnought, using my revived Hakamoto to claim victory, and the Poliwhirl going down just as easily. The Clamorant would be a mere stepping stone to the evolution of my matchup. After victory was in my hands, I leveled him up, and here we have it, the Machoke in all of his glory. Day 43 started with rapid momentum, throwing out my Machoke, Massillary, and Toxtricity to defeat the Ponyta and score points for each of my Pokemon. Taking me into the depths of the earth, I battled a Ghastly, leveling up my Massillary and replacing Aromatherapy with Acid Armor. They're both equally useless, but on day 45, I entered a snowy biome where I battled a Gogot, a Burmite, and finished out the day by claiming my rewards. I didn't get anything too special, so on day 46, I went to battle a Solucis, a Poliwhirl, which leveled up my Machoke, and here's where the editing gets faster. Before you saw 4 to 5 battles per day, now you only see the most important bits. So after fighting minor Pokemon at the beginning here on the snowy biome, on day 47, I encountered another cool looking boss, a Floating Head. I did try to defeat him, but he wiped my entire party, and I tried tossing a Pokeball at him, but to no avail. On day 48, I encountered a Granbull, which was level 60, the highest level I have faced so far. I tossed out a Machoke, swapped out to my Fortress to tank his next hit. Then the Hakamoto fainted, but I used my Decidueye to take him down, leveling up my Machoke and unlocking Strength to replace Leer. This led me into day 49, where I battled a common boss, the common Miltank, and used my Massillary, Toxtricity, and Decidueye to take him down, leveling up both my Decidueye and my Toxtricity, getting Leaf Blade to replace that terrible Sucker Punch, which was a completely useless move. So I'm glad I got Leaf Blade, and then Discharge, which was a major upgrade. Day 50, I would spend battling minor Pokemon, getting a few levels here and there, but nothing too too much, returning on day 51 to make minor base improvements, just chilling out at my base, improving the floor, adding decorations to all the different rooms, buying the PC and healing station, an armor stand to display my armor. I set up a storage area as well as a furnace area. I didn't show that, but on day 52 moved on to battle a Tarkle at the beginning and continued to fight some minor level Pokemon. Another Loudred, which I easily took down this time. He was level 40, leveling up my Hakamono, and on day 52 finishing off with a Carkol, which is an upgraded Tarkle. Day 53 and another dang turtle. This is probably a good time to mention that I would ask the admin to switch to daytime to make the shaders look better, so if it's always daytime, that's why. I defeated the level 54 Rufflet and then encountered a Hitmonchan, which was destroying my party, and the only way I would defeat this guy is with my last bit of health in the Toxtricity. I was able to get a poison jab in, and now my goal was just to stay alive and let the poison do the work. Luckily, my matchup was able to speed up that process, defeating him. Then I saw this monster swimming just below the water, filled with terror and excitement. I jumped in to face the beast. This Clawster didn't stand a chance against my party, but this was definitely one of the high points for me in the series. Next, I battled a Sandaconda, level 50. I swapped out all of my different Pokemons, and you do this so you can get the XP on all of your party members when you eventually get the win. I took him out with my Decidueye and leveled up all of my Pokemon in the process, getting Dazzling Gleam to replace Sweet Kiss on my Miscellany. And now the perfect way to end the day, a level 56 boss Houndoom. The only way I was going to defeat this guy was by hitting him with the poison jab from my Toxtricity and then bleeding out the timer with my party. I defeated him, getting a Keystone, which I turned into cool looking glasses. So you might notice that the toxic attack on the Toxtricity was my favorite strategy at the moment. I continued this into day 55 where I battled a trainer. There you go, using the poison once again to get the enemy Pokemon down, and then using my other Pokemon to hit the final blows. I was able to quickly defeat that trainer, moving on to defeat the giant rat, getting Dual Chop on my Machop, which is basically a move that allows you to hit twice. Telling from the name, it's quite easy to figure out. Then I defeated a level 50 Tauros and got Poison Jab. So the times I was saying Poison Jab, I was actually using Toxic, but now I got both attacks. This was honestly the best strategy for me because I could just poison the Pokemon and use my Fortress to tank most of the hits, which I did until the end of day 56 where I encountered an Onix. This guy was level 50 and you can see that I got him down to 1% health. I couldn't capture him though I really wanted to, but I had to kill him after trying time and time again. Into day 57, I started off with a few minor battles and then I encountered a Snorlax. Oh man, I really should have captured that Snorlax. I didn't think about it at the time. The Pikachu I just defeated because I was super confident in my Toxtricity and his poison ability mixed with his electric ability, and I finished out day 58 by getting a few minor victories against a Diglett and some other Pokemon, leveling up my Hakamono, my Machoke, and getting Iron Defense on my Fortress, going into day 59 where I had a few minor battles. Nothing against new Pokemon, just fighting stuff that I've already fought before, like a level 50 Quasar, and ending out the day fighting a Ponyta in the savannah. Day 60, I headed back home to finish up that arena. I needed to clear a space on the top of the mountain, and this would take some time with a diamond shovel, so someone on the server offered to enchant my tools. After exploring his base, by the way, huge shout out to Camper Minecrafter, I was able to get efficiency 2, which helped me finish up clearing the space at the end of day 60. Day 61 and construction began. I used some of my Pokédollars to buy the black concrete and filled out each side with the red and white terracotta. Then I would make 2 sections for trainers to stand on either end, filling it up with random blocks, and then heading over to claim some rewards in order to get more Pokédollars. And in the process, I got 6 more candies. I could definitely use those. And at the end of the day, the arena was completed. Into day 62, where I used those candies to evolve my Hakamono into a Kimono, making the best looking and most fierce Pokemon in my party. Check him out. That is awesome. Unlocking changing skills to replace Leer, which is a super powerful move and only my second offensive move, so I was super excited about that. Using the remaining candies that I had to level my Macillary and unlock Recover. Basically synthesis for Macillary, that is also very powerful. Ending the day with a few victories into the next where I faced yet another charcoal, leveling up my Pokemon and raiding a healing station at night. I got a max revive from this and a few hyper potions, so that was good. And then I faced off against another Twiistz, and this guy didn't stand a chance against my party because I am evolving into the swamps where I faced down a Golduck. He had some really cool animations, that's mainly why I showed this, and I should have captured him, but the defeat was coming to him no matter what. Day 65, and I went to claim my rewards, getting a revival herb, mainly looking for more Poke dollars, but I finished up the day with some battling in the terracotta biome, leveling up my Toxtricity and meeting some fans on the server, some players, and taking a screenshot so I could promote it in my community page. Day 67, I spent almost the entire day looking for shrines after those guys gave me a few helpful tips, including that the server had loyalty kits which had potions in them as well as candy. So I got 15 candies from the kits and used this to level up my Macillary, getting Misty Terrain, which negates status conditions for 5 turns. I didn't choose to learn that, and I also didn't choose to learn Entrainment, which gives the enemy Pokemon the ability to mimic my moves. I didn't want that, but I leveled up my Machoke as well, getting Bulk Up, an attack that slaps held items out of the enemy Pokemon's hands, but I was happy either way for the boost in my training. In today's 67, where I encountered a level 60 trainer, my level 47 Machoke took the first swing, knocking out Clank with only half health remaining. Next came the Liron, which basically bodied my entire team, taking out most of my Pokemon, but ultimately I would be able to defeat him by using potions with my Fortress, but out came another level 60 Liron, which ultimately defeated my Fortress, and my Machoke was back on the field. Although he couldn't do anything, I called out my Kimono with 5% health remaining. Using a bunch of max potions, I was able to finally defeat that Liron, reviving my Kimono, healing him back up, and getting that win. Next came the Aron, level 59, with one hit from my Kimono, he was taken to half, and then another hit with a max potion in combination, I got the victory. It was a very costly battle, but I needed that 1800 Poke Dollars in order to buy a Thunderstone, which I combined with my orb to get an orb of static souls, which I could use to summon a boss later on. A few days later, I got onto the server to claim my monthly crates. This gave me a bunch of rare candies, which I used to level up my Decidueye, getting the Feather Dance flying ability to replace the useless Soul Shackle. Next on my Machoke, I got Seismic Toss to round out his special attacks, using the remaining candies on my Toxtricity to get Overdrive to replace Spark, a more powerful version of that move, and also Boom Burst, which was just a normal explosion attack that I chose not to learn. I used a few more candies on the Toxtricity, and with this level of confidence in my party, I went out to try a gym. The Sand Gym, although I still found it quite difficult, I'm not sure it's because of my party composition, but I couldn't make a head on any one of these Pokemon. I completely got crushed and forfeited to end day 68. The next 2 days start off quite well, fighting this interesting looking Pokemon. I wanted to capture the Dracloak, but I one-shotted him using the Macillary's Dazzling Gleam. My next opponent would be a level 50 Arbok. I wasn't going to capture this guy because I'm terrified of snakes in real life. I cannot have it. I battled towards his big brother, the Buffalont, and towards the end of the 2 days encountered a legendary Houndoom, level 76, and a shiny. I wish I could have captured him, but it wasn't possible. Immediately, I had to use a max revive because he was one-shotting all of my Pokemon. My Toxtricity went down twice, my Macillary was out, my Machoke was the only one left, and he went down as well. The 70% on the Houndoom gave me hope, but the Decidueye wasn't able to get the job done. I had to use a Revival Herb on the Kimono, taking me down to about 20% health, where I could luckily still max out using my potions. With fire damage on me, it was pretty difficult as I took double the damage. My strategy here was to use potions to stay alive as I was lowering Houndoom's attack with my Noble Roar, just opening up a large enough window to give me an opportunity to strike. I finally was able to get him down to 5% health, call out my Machop, and got the final hit with a level 49 Pokemon. That was an epic win for me, and I finished out the end of the day by also killing a camel in the desert. In today's 70, I encountered a boss common Magikarp. Yes, I know I could capture Magikarp and make him to a Gyarados, but I didn't want to do something so vanilla, and found somebody's portal on their base that leads into the Nether. I thought there would be some cool Pokemon in here. I did explore for a very long time, flying around with my Decidueye, standing in position waiting for Pokemon to spawn, but I couldn't find anything good. In today's 71, where I explored yet again, this time the Ice Plains. You see that compare and contrast there? A fiery hell and then frozen wasteland immediately right after. I then found a trainer, first tossing out my fortress, swapping to my Toxtricity to tank that hit, defeating the Zubat, but getting defeated by the Wombuffet, then calling out my Miscellany to finally put to use that acid armor. After doing it 3 times, it didn't do much but save me. I used recover. With my final max potion, I had just enough health, you see that 2 out of 110, to get the victory over the Wombuffet. Then came out a level 65 Golbat, which killed my entire party, my Komodo, my Miscellany, my Machop, until I had only the Toxtricity left alive, which I revived, and this guy took down that Golbat, as well as unlocked a new ability. I got a Magnetic Flux, which I replaced the Boom Burst, which was a useless attack as I said earlier, and then defeated the level 65 Ikens. Out came a level 64, which went down just as easily. The Golbat took me down, but I revived my Decidueye, and then used the Decidueye's only health to revive the Toxtricity, and use the Toxtricity to claim a victory at the end of day 72, getting almost 4,000 Pokédollars. The next day started off normally, but I went into the mountains where I found a Colossus. This is the turtle's big brother. I was fighting this guy throughout the entire series, so it's nice to see him fully evolved. I took him down quite easily with my party as he was only level 50. He had some cool particle animations though, I do have to admit. Towards the end of this day, I battled a level 57 trainer, and he only had 1 Pokemon in his party. So weird, but it was about to get weirder. The next morning, I battled a level 47 trainer right next to where I defeated the first. He also had only 1 Pokemon. After a nice little battle, I encountered, yes, another trainer in the same exact spot. He had 2 cool looking Pokemons. They're just different names. The same character though. I defeated them, getting 1,900 Pokédollars, and then another trainer was right next to them. After defeating a few of his Pokemon, I unlocked Brave Bird, which was a really cool ability to replace the basic Razor Leaf, and then I got a few more wins. After swapping out my Pokemon, I leveled up my Fortress to unlock Gyro Ball to replace Payback, and finished out his last remaining Pokemon to get 1,500 Pokédollars. This was good for me because now I had 11,000 Pokédollars to spend in the shop, and I was gonna buy a really expensive item called a Strong Water Lure, and this would attract water Pokemon to me, and spoiler alert, nothing came to me. I tried the entire day, didn't get anything, so I came back to get my weekly crate, getting a few candies, which I spent completely on my Decidueye, because now I was going to spend all my candies in one place, so I could get that level 100 Pokemon. In today's 76, I came back to that trainer spot, which I saved, and found another trainer. This trainer had a combination of Steel and Psychic Pokemon. They had really awesome animations, as you can see. I love that purple beam that's coming out of the Paragon. I believe that's how you say it. The Clang came out next, which I took down with my Decidueye. Of course, Grass is good against Steel. Psychic is also good against Psychic, and this guy literally had a Pokemon called Paragon 2. That is so meta. And I finished up the day by battling a level 50 Grofferig, and on day 77, I claimed another starter kit. This is only 3 rare candies, but it allowed me to unlock a new ability for my Komodo, an Outrage ability, which has the chance of attacking 2 to 3 times. I replaced my Noble Roar, which was kind of a risk, and now with my leveled up team, I tried to gym once again. Witness those epic animations of my team getting absolutely demolished. I mean, this is impossible. There was no way that I could do it, and after my defeat, I contemplated life. I actually looked up all of the skills on the server and found that you could get crates by farming. So I decided, hey, why not? Let's make a farm at the end of day 77, and I don't think I ever came back to this in this video at all. So on day 78, I battled a level 59 trainer using my Twiistz. I was able to defeat his first Pokemon, and then this giant dude spawned a Weezing, and I'll be honest, I was just throwing out random Pokemon because he did poison and kill my kimono, and after throwing out my fortress, I got the win easily, leveling up my Machoke and Twiistz, encountering a Mudsdale, which looked cool, but he was only level 30, so there was no point adding him to my team. Towards the end of the day, I found a move tutor, and this guy couldn't teach me anything, so the word that I'm looking for here is, yeah, pointless. Now, into day 79, I battled a common Clefairy, and although she was level 76, I took basically no effort to defeat her. However, I got some cool safety goggles and then found a level 75 trainer next, and although my entire party was basically between level 48 and 55, I cleaned the floor with all of our Pokemon, and the best thing about this was all of the particle animations, as defeating her would only give me 1,000 Pokédollars, as I guess she wasn't that powerful even though her level was pretty high. Day 80, something really special happened. I found a Raccoon. This guy was high level. I wanted to add him to my team. Using my party, I got him down really low health to toss a Pokeball. It didn't work the first couple of times, but then I used my Twiistz and my other Pokemon to get him down to like 2% health, and no matter how many Pokeballs I threw, pause your screen, check my bag about how many Pokemons I had before and after, and you see that I tossed like 30 Pokeballs, and I still didn't capture this guy. I thought it was because he's too high level to be captured, and this put me off from getting any high level Pokemon later on. I finished the day by defeating him. I had no choice. Super heartbreaking for me. I was looking forward to adding another level 70 to my team to get that skip up ahead, but here now I battle for 2 more days, showing you the most interesting Pokemons that I faced. This funnily named Chestnut, he's literally shaped like a chestnut, but then encountering Aaron's big brother, Ogron. Level 51, took him down. My party is totally suited against steel types. This Bisharp also looked really cool, but he was no match for my Machoke's RKO. My fortress finished the job going into day 83, where I killed a Cherubi, one-shotted him with the Decidueye, fighting throughout the day until I encountered this creepy looking Pokemon. All my Pokemon was low on health at this point, and I wasn't able to beat him as he was level 81. Super cool though. I was hoping to encounter him again. Unfortunately, I did not. 2 more days of battling, and I finally figured out how spawning works. I got an alert that a Pokemon was nearby, and after flying around with my Decidueye, I found him. Now it was time for a battle. Normally everyone on the server is chasing this, but I'm the one that got it. Level 70 Entei, throwing out my kimono to do most of the damage, then swapping my fortress to get that final blow. Check it out, barely hanging on with like 1% health, and confusing the Entei to get the win, upgrading my fortress, unlocking Double Edge, which is a more powerful version of a tackle. Then the ugliest Pokemon showed up, Guzzlord, level 70. Of course, he defeated my already damaged Komodo. Hey, that's not something to brag about. I called out my Decidueye and took him down, no problem. I got a Dragon Gem out of that, which I don't really know what that does, but either way, went on to encounter an Empoleon, level 40, cool looking, but one-shotted by my Twiistz, and to end out day 85, battling a Metagross, which I defeated using my kimono. Epic days of battling. Back at my arena, I called in another weekly starter and monthly crate, as I don't play this all in the same day, guys. But with 31 candies, I unlocked a new ability, Close Combat, which which does an attack lowering the special attack and defense of the enemy Pokemon. Using a few more levels, I got a second ability called Clangorous Souls, which raises the stats of all of my attack and abilities by sacrificing some of my HP. I replaced Dragon Dance since that was just increasing my attack and speed, and used the remaining candies on my alchemy to get her up to 78, and of course my kimono was at level 72 if you did not spot that. With my new high level party, I headed out to face some new opponents. This Kubco didn't stand a chance against my Decidueye kimono combo, and I took him down pretty easily. Next came the Hiliolisk. This was a female versus female battle, level 80 versus level 78. Both of them had beam attacks as well as recover ability, so it was intense until I got the Hiliolisk down to like 1% health. I tried to do the swap out to get a lower Pokemon to get the winning hit. Unfortunately, this gave the Hiliolisk time to regenerate, so I had to call out the kimono to put him down and not give him any more hope. Two more nice victories to end the day against a level 87 Hunter and 85 Unknown into day 88, where I found for the first time the shrine. So this shrine was going to be useless to me, but it still looked pretty cool, and afterwards, right on the river, I found a Militech, level 95, super cute looking, but it reminded me of a snake yet again, and I can't have that in my party. After introducing him to the boys, I took him out with the Decidueye. My next opponent would be an Embro, tossing out first my kimono, swapping to my alchemy, but the Embro would do a triple attack, taking out a ton of my health. Luckily, I had to recover to boost me back up as I lowered Embro's abilities, then he knocked me out, so I had to start all over again. He flamed attacked me, I made him fall in love, but apparently this doesn't stop murder, so I then went and threw out my Decidueye, and surprisingly enough, a leaf type is going to beat a fire type. After taking the blowtorch, healing myself up with synthesis, I was able to get the final blow, and towards the end of my 2 days of battling yet again, a Flygon showed up, level 96. Using my alchemy, I was able to take him out, swapping between all my Pokemon, of course, allowing me to get Dynamic Punch on my Machoke. Another normal day of battling, with the only significant opponent being a Zebstrika, level 85. Took him out pretty easily, encountering a shopkeeper on the plains. This is the first shopkeeper that I've ever encountered, so I took the opportunity to sell all of the items I wasn't using, including my safety goggles and even 2 PP maxes, getting me enough money to buy a Dusk Stone. I wasn't sure what that was or if I was going to use it, but hey, this is the first time I've ever seen a shopkeeper. I might as well get it while I can. My next battle in the swamps would be against a giant walrus. This was pretty easy for me as I was swapping back and forth between my different Pokemon, but the particle animations and his psychic abilities were really cool. This was towards the end of day 91. I spent the entire day searching for Pokemon and fighting until I came across this Triapos 84. She had really awesome looking abilities, doing tons of damage, that leaf attack, that psychic attack, and it was just a really fun battle altogether. Day 92, I encountered a very weird looking Pokemon. This just looked out of the universe. It was an easy battle yet again, but next came a Starmie. I just love this. It's one of the only Pokemon that I know. It was a easy battle, but something worth mentioning because those Pokemon, or that specific Pokemon, looks really awesome. Then an Inteleon came through. I thought he was going to be weak, but he had this really awesome psychic ability, which he didn't use the second time around, allowing me to get an easy kill on him. I had the best luck on day 93, getting 10 candies in the crates. I was doing this to get more Poke Dollars to finish up the space around my arena. What I wanted to do was add slabs to the outside and just to fill in all those cracks to make it look a little bit nicer, so when you guys visit, you think, hey, this is a good arena and not a totally terrible one. But I finished it up and then used the 10 candies on my alchemy to get her from 78 to 88. Leveling her up also gave me 2 more crates, and what is crazy about this is I went back to claim the crates and I actually got more candies. Look at this, 10 candies. I had such amazing luck, like I said, and I used it immediately on the alchemy since she was my good luck charm to reach to level 98. There you go, guys, almost level 100. And I also used the second key to get the 300 Poke Dollars that I needed to finish out the top of the base. On day 94, I went out battling again with my high level alchemy. I was able to fight a level level 99 Pokemon, swapping out with my kimono to get the final hit. Then I came across something majestic. I think the best Pokemon I've seen in this entire video, the Venusaur, level 108. Yeah, no chance I was gonna beat this guy, but there you go. In all of his glory, all of his cool particle animations, I fought him too early the next morning and still died. I got my redemption on the Whirlipede, just taking out all my frustration on him. Then I spotted, swimming in the river, a Glaceon. I didn't find any Eevees this entire time. I would have definitely caught an Eevee if I did find one, and I was gonna capture this one. High level, I failed at capturing high levels before, but I was gonna try. This would be well worth it. Breaking free from my Premier Ball twice, I managed to get one more in, and boom, there you go. I immediately went to my computer and switched my fortress with the Glaceon, already strengthening my party. Alright, so now it was confirmed to me that I could just capture high-level Pokemon. Before, I thought it was not possible because of that earlier encounter I had, but I captured immediately the next high-level Pokemon that I ran into, the Venomoth, level 82, got him really low with my Glaceon, and then captured him with the first Pokeball. That was pretty easy. Then I tested them both out on the Phony, level 89. Using my Glaceon, I took a lot of damage, switching immediately to my Venomoth, took the first Whirlwind pretty easily, but fainted to the Phony's Beam, and when in doubt, call out the Kimono to get that win. Now for the Incineroar, which is the cousin to the other fire type that I fought earlier. He's like a bigger guy, just the same version. He would knock me out as well. Using my Alchemy, I would try my best to get him down, and of course, gonna catch him. I'm gonna get him. Level 94, I can replace some of my low-level Pokemon, no problem. And then day 97 and day 99 was spent killing dozens and dozens of Pokemon. I had to kill 150 Pokemon in order to fill my orb of static souls. So yeah, I just spent the entire 3 days chasing low-level Pokemon and one-shotting them. It was super tedious, but now into day 100, guys, here we go. I finally opened up the Poke Builder thanks to the admin, of course, gifting me a few rewards. I was able to increase the size of all of my Pokemon. My Alchemy grew up. She's all big now. And then my dragon is massive. Look at that. That's so cool. And here's my team. Dude, that's so awesome. My team came out a lot better than I thought. Of course, I got a few Pokemon towards the end, but my main and my dragon was there to stay. I could also ride this guy, which was really, really awesome and cool looking. That is a mount fit for a king. You get it? Because I have a crown on. The last thing I was left to do was to insert my orb of static souls to summon the boss. Unfortunately, since I waited so long, the Zapdos was only level 70, so I just got him real low using my Decidueye and then tossed the Great Ball. I tossed a few Great Balls. He broke free a couple times, but I wanted to get this guy because why not? Let's make my party even better. Before ending day 100, captured the Zapdos, and I would replace my Decidueye, yes, I know my main, with the Zapdos just to get an awesome view of my entire party. And there you have it, guys. Day 100, having fun with his flying mechanics. It's very different from the Decidueye. He goes a lot faster. You can dive bomb. Pretty cool, but there you have it, guys. 100 days of Pixelmon. It was epic, it was a journey, and it was one of the first times I've actually played Pokemon almost like an entire playthrough. So it was something that I really enjoyed sharing with all of you. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to take 1 second to crush that like button, share it with your friends, and once again, thank you all for watching, especially if you watched this far. This was Twiistz, and I'll see you all next time.